Welcome back to the Breakroom. The Pied Piper is Sherman Oaks, Mr. Tommy Bechtold. This is our daily show that keeps you updated on what's going on in nerd news. And as you can already tell, the format's a little different today. We're coming at you remote. We're not in our beautiful actual break room at New Rockstars HQ, but as a bonus, we're all comfortably at home and we get joined by the wonderful Mr. Eric Voss.
Hello! Thank you guys for letting me come back in after I screamed at some of the nice people who were tuning in on our first episode. Yes. It's redemption hour for me.
No. That's the Voss we want back, I think. We want it pure vitriol and rage.
Lean in, baby. Lean in.
And of course, I'm joined with my other co-hosts, Jessica Clemons and Tommy Bechtold.
Yes, definitely in our real houses.
Stop it.
Tommy may or may not be in the back aisle of a Target somewhere.
They'll never know.
Coming up on today's episode, we're really excited to talk about. We've got some more info on Miss Marvel's powers, which we've frequently speculated about on this channel. We're talking Book of Boba Fett. We've got a little Squid Game Season 2 update and a whole lot more. And as we've been doing on most of the episodes of the Break Room so far, we've got our swear jar going. And we were trying to explain it to Eric right before we started. Our swear jar is a bit of a reverse swear jar in that we can only swear when we hit a certain amount of money. Once we get to multiples of $100 in the super chat, that unleashes one tight tirade of profanity from whichever host happens to notice it first. Now, Tommy is eagle-eyed on that and has gotten it maybe 8 out of the 10 times that we've hit it. Jessica is probably a close second. She's equally observant. I'm terrible at it. Maybe Eric and his eye for Easter eggs and missable details will be able to notice that swear jar. But first, let's do the headlines. Bang. The graphics probably rolling right now. Great. The news of the day. A featurette in today's USA Today revealed that Miss Marvel's powers include the ability to manifest light. Of course, that's very different from the comics. But it kind of, as Kevin Feige pointed out in an interview, it more closely aligns her and strengthens the connection to Captain Marvel.
Well, yeah, because we have Monica Rambeau, right? Like, she can manifest energy, right? So now it's like, that's kind of a similar power set, it feels like. The Marvels are all energy producers. Clean energy, may I add.
I think so long as Kamala Khan's manifesting of light has a more of a tangible texture to it, I think that's one thing that, like, I missed out from while watching Captain Marvel and Monica Rambeau a bit in WandaVision. It was just the actors are clearly like, so I just wave my hands around and then you coat it with glow stick goo. Cool.
It seems No, sorry, Voss. It seems even though they're trying to get rid of the fact that, like, oh, she doesn't have the same powers as Mr. Fantastic, because in the comics she was, like, super stretchy. She's still super stretchy in the form of super light. Does that make sense? It seems from the trailer that she's still extending her arm, but it's the light that is being extended. So I still think she's staying pretty close to the comics as much as I really want her to. But
I don't know. Jessica, piggybacking on that, I think, like, one of the things that through 3, varying degrees of quality Fantastic Four films, the stretchiness has not yet quite been mastered by special effects and CGI artists, whereas the kind of, like, manifestation of things like power and electricity and light is much more, I think, impressive on screen. The stretchiness still, even in, spoiler alert, incoming in Multiverse of Madness, it's better, but it's still not quite like as amazing as I think people who love the comic books want it to be. So to me, this is almost more of a practical decision too.
Yeah. Yes.
As long as she just says "embiggen" at some point, I'm good to go.
Embiggen, elongate.
Also, Tommy, how dare you not say 4 Fantastic Four movies if we're including the previously seen on bootleg breakdowns early 90s.
Thank you to all 40,000 of you that supported that video. I know each one of you by name, and you are all still receiving your Roger Corman's Fantastic Four autograph, Tommy Bechtold. Thank you, note. So.
All right. A new photo of Jessica Jones actress Kristen Ritter and Luke Cage actor Mike Coulter posing together was posted recently, and it kind of sparked some rumors of a Defenders reunion. Yeah. We've got more kind of Netflix Defenders news coming up shortly. Do we think that this could be hinting at a new project together with those characters, or are these just two friends hanging out that have worked together?
Two friends hanging out. There was another photo that came out of two celebrities hanging out, and people are like, and it's like, no. They even said, they're like, no, we're just friends because we had very close scenes together.
No, I don't think anyone in Los Angeles are friends. They're all either future or present work colleagues. Have any conversation, any party, over or whatever line of coke that you've done. It's whatever you're working on, right? Yeah. Everyone's always on the clock.
Well, there's true Hollywood stories. 12 years ago, a photo of myself and Nick Swartzen surfaced on Facebook, only for us to both star in Bill Burr's Immoral Compass on the Roku channel, me as Dead Guy, and him as, I believe, Cat Murderer. So if you say people can't come together to create great content, you don't know.
It feels like a real life. It's like a real life version of The Secret.
That's right.
Right?
Manifest that, baby. Manifest.
I didn't get a photo, but I once saw Mike Coulter at the Studio City LA Fitness.
Hell yeah.
He's a large, healthy-looking man.
Zach Huddleston on season 2 of Defenders confirmed.
Ooh. Confirmed. Speaking of Defenders, as we mentioned, this news kind of just broke right before we started recording. Variety is reporting that a new Disney Plus Daredevil series is a go. No details yet, no casting news. They've just kind of assigned some showrunners to it. And, we don't know dates, anything like that, but it is being worked on.
It said new Daredevil series, so it's not following up what Netflix had put out.
Hey. But was the headline writer from the UK? Because they call season series there.
Look them up. Look them up. Look them up. Who wrote it?
And maybe it would be considered as a new series just because there was a break. Maybe this will be called Daredevil Man Without Fear or something. It'll have a slightly different title to denote that it comes from a different studio and has a different...
This could be 616 Daredevil. Because, Charlie Cox in interviews has theorized that his Daredevil from the Netflix series and the Daredevil that he played in Far From Home may not be the same person, right, Eric? I think you and I may have discussed it.
Don't quote me.
No, I'm not quoting you. I'm asking if you've also seen that. I think there is, and I thought we talked about.
Yes.
He's interviews. He said it offhandedly in an interview. He didn't say like.
Yeah, he said it at I believe it was in Tel Aviv or something like that, a Comic-Con or some kind of convention. And to me, it was very clear that he said that the Charlie Cox in Spider-Man No Way Home and coming up in the MCU is going to be like a different universe variant. Like that was absolutely the context, but don't tell that to the people who believe that everything that happened in the Netflix Daredevil show is 100% MCU 616 canon, because they will take him out of context and yell at you for the rest of your
Eric
life.
Voss from that and send all your hate to me at Tommy Bechtold. Because you want to know what? I fuel off it, nerds. I fuel off it.
Oh, the Wilson Fisk of the Breakroom right there.
Breakfast. I eat your tears. Your tears lubricate my Captain Crunch so it can slide down my throat and not make so many cuts like raw Captain Crunch does.
He takes your hate and he slams it in the car door. That's right. Okay, that's how we got it. We'll be talking a lot about this, and we'll probably even have some content on the channel speculating about it, especially when we get some more news about casting and dates and things like that. And now we have been talking a whole lot about all of this Vanity Fair Star Wars coverage over the last couple of days. The Kathleen Kennedy interview, lots of news, both about upcoming Star Wars releases and kind of previous ones. One thing we got into, Jon Favreau defended the decision to make Boba Fett a good guy in the book of Boba Fett, right? He was quoted as saying, I think he's just wise. He's also a much older character because now we're after the original trilogy. He's at a very different point in his life, having experienced what we had seen in all the previous films. Now, Tommy and Eric are making a very special Star Wars themed trip.
Yes.
Fingers crossed.
We're calling it our honeymoon, but thank you for calling it a trip. Yes.
Our honey 2 moons.
Yes.
How many moons are there?
Zach's paying respect for our relatives back east who don't really know me and Tommy's true relationship.
Yeah.
We're just friends going on a trip.
These two buddies heading up to Space Mountain. Oh my God, it's Space Mountain.
Jesus Christ.
Going to Star Wars Celebration in Anaheim. Fingers crossed that it doesn't get canceled by act of God or COVID or something like that. But do you have thoughts on this quote, or what are you most? Let's just take a quick side trip. Sure. What are you most excited to see at Star Wars Celebration?
Well, I do have thoughts on this interview because I read the whole article, and I think that expounded upon. Favreau made it kind of some even more salient points that, like, it's interesting. He did a lot of comparisons to Michael Corleone from The Godfather, like, which is kind of a funny, like, let me compare this character I made to one of the greatest characters in cinematic history. However, what he was saying was kind of like a reversal where, like, Boba Fett was born destined to be a bad guy, right? Like, he's the son of, like, a merciless bounty hunter who is orphaned at a young age and then kind of raised in the shadow of the Empire. Ultimately, when the money is right or the credits are right, joining the Empire in their pursuit of the rebellion, only to kind of just be cast aside and left for dead in the stomach of a Sarlacc, making kind of a Boba Fett haggis, if you will. And then, so he said the interesting choice, rather than having him just continue to be, a ruthless ne'er-do-well bad guy. Who would really want to follow that story? Immediate tweets from angry people. We do on my Twitter timeline. But he said it was more interesting to make him, as he said, then continuing on with that wise quote, like, he has so much knowledge now about why doing things from an evil or bad point of view don't work, that it makes sense for him to want peace. It makes sense for him to want, kind of justice, to do what's fair rather than what is ultimately more profitable. So no longer driven by money, it's easy for him to be a little more benevolent, I think.
Yeah, I was okay with that moral alignment shift for the character, because ultimately I think Boba Fett in the original trilogy was more of a neutral character. We don't really know what his motives were. He wasn't necessarily a villain. He was just a guy on a gig. And as we know, we've done plenty of gigs before in front of all kinds of hostile audiences, and who knows what that brings out of you.
You're looking at a man who did a haunted house.
I wish I could have frozen a carbonite.
I did a haunted house in Orange County once where not one, not two, not three, but 4 people showed up in blackface. So I've done some real hell gigs before.
I mean, Philip has a hilarious story about how he did a haunted house in college and he's like, I will be completely pitch black, and then basically just put on black paint on his face and rode a bus to the gig. I'll let him tell that story. Anyway, I just wish, bringing it back to Boba here, I do wish that we got to see more of his wisdom. I think, like, in those episodes, he just made so many tactical blunders, trusting people he should not have trusted to begin with. Like, I think they're kind of looking back on their writing of that series with some rose-tinted glasses.
I think
that when we covered it
wasn't his, like, gaining of a conscience. It was more complete loss of instincts that was more jarring. Not like, he's now got, like, a sense of purpose. It's like, he forgot how to, like, deal with the people he dealt with his whole life very effectively.
Yes.
So.
And yeah, maybe that comes down to intent versus execution. And I don't think it was a bad intent. Maybe it just wasn't quite executed the way they would have liked or the way we would have liked. But but now, what are you excited to see at Star Wars Celebration next week?
I've never been to a celebration before. I'm going to be a complete noob, and I'm so excited to see the cosplay, because, like, the people, like, Star Wars Celebration is really the epicenter of the, like, people who will just go from con to con, like, with the most amazing, to me, like, the most exposure I got to great Star Wars cosplay was when I lived in North Hollywood, and there was the guy with the silver Mandalorian armor on the skateboard. Have you guys ever seen that guy?
I see him almost every week.
Yes.
Yeah, he's awesome. So yeah, I'm excited for and I just want to see, like, the vendor room. Like, there will be, Tommy and I found out we're going to get access to the Thursday Lucasfilm panel. So I think that's where we're going to see an Andor panel. But, like, obviously, we're used to just seeing stuff on YouTube when it drops, but being able to see the teams in person as they're talking about their process, I'm just so.
I echo those. This is not to brag or cry for help. My fourth celebration. But I think what I'm really looking forward to, the costumes are always amazing. The vendors are incredible, especially the artists that make their own, like basically incredibly high quality fan art. But Friday, Eric and I have access to a panel that has Lawrence Kasdan and Ron Howard in it. And I'm sorry, whether you like Solo or not, I will listen to Ron Howard talk filmmaking all day, any day about it. Like I and as someone who's not like a really diehard Solo hater, someone who I actually kind of enjoyed the film, I'm just looking forward to that. I mean, all the panels that Eric and I are lucky enough to have access to sound amazing. But that panel in particular, I'm like, man, that is a once in a lifetime, really close up at that. I'm so excited for that. I really, I think there's going to hopefully be some good opportunities for Eric and I to share what we learn at these things, and hopefully make some fun content as well. Not that learning isn't fun, but let's face it, a little bit of a snooze. So. Why I went to 3 colleges, no degrees, baby.
Yes, we're still working out the details, but we hope we'll maybe have some kind of reporting back from your experiences, maybe some content to share here on the Break Room. Yeah. Certainly on WikiLeaks, the show that Eric and Tommy host every week, and that show's going to be blowing up real soon with the release of Obi-Wan, and really probably throughout the rest of the year with. Andor to follow, and a lot of good Star Wars content coming down the pipeline. Back to headlines. Squid Game creator, and I apologize, I'm not good at pronouncing Korean names. Hwang Dong-hyuk gave more insight into season 2 in a recent interview with Vanity Fair. These are like great, scary type quotes. I feel like I want to ask the question: is true solidarity between humans possible? Like, oh my God, he's going to make people do some stuff to each other, And he added that the show could be out by the end of 2023 or 2024. Humanity is going to be put to a test through those games once again. We all love Squid Game and covered it here on the channel. Very excited for another season of that show.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I say take your time with it. Please don't rush it. We see this so many times with like amazing first series of a show, and they'll True Detective was this, right? Where the showrunner just spends years gestating on this idea, and then they rush a second season, and it's just not as good. So I like to hear that, like, the end of 2023 or 2024. Great. No rush.
Take your time.
Yeah.
Take your time, and let's just make sure none of us get roped into any high-profile suicide games before that. God knows I need the money.
If you meet a man at a subway station, Tommy, do not take him up on his dice rolling proposition. Okay.
Not again. I'll never do it again.
Twice is too many. We got a season 3 Umbrella Academy trailer. I watched this earlier today. Yes. It's a great looking trailer. Kind of fulfills the tease at the end of season 2 for folks that have been watching that Netflix series. Certainly kind of blows that out. Looks like they're going to explore that for the rest of season 3 with kind of the Umbrella Academy versus the Sparrow Academy. If you haven't watched that show, very digestible. You can catch up on the first 2 seasons on Netflix right now ahead of that 3rd season premiere. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun.
I'm a big fan of that show. I actually enjoyed the comic. Not to brag, when it came out, God, I think the comic is almost 8 or 9 years old now. Whenever Gerard Way started Young Animal with DC, but I just like the way that they do the show. Like you said, it's very bingeable. It's kind of they do a good job of explaining the world and then just blowing it out. And then this season, clearly like. This is a great season where like they kind of wrapped up the mysteries of season 1 within season 2 and then just exploded everything. So now fans of that show, I think, will be rewarded with a great season 3, and I hope new fans of the show will watch seasons 1 and 2 before.
Absolutely. And then this is kind of a funny story. So we're also very excited for another Netflix series coming very soon, Stranger Things. And apparently news came out that key plot details of the upcoming Stranger Things season were spoiled via a Netflix themed Monopoly set. Now, we do not know what the spoilers are, and we're not going to talk about them here. And actually, nobody has talked about what the specific things are. You probably have to buy that Monopoly set to know. But apparently, it's so pissed off the creators of Stranger Things, Duffer Brothers, that they created a big stink. And it got us thinking about how often merch and toys spoil movies.
It is completely baffling how many times companies will create products without asking the people that created the show.
Yeah,
they did the same thing to what was it? Gravity Falls. Disney released like a book of unpublished animation cells, and they were like, we didn't know they were doing this. We didn't know that they had access to this.
Yeah.
So it's just like all these things that they were planning on doing. They're like, well, we couldn't do because they put it in a book.
It's so funny. Like when I was a kid, I had this Spider-Man notebook, and it was like just a blank notebook. And then one day there was a note at my kitchen table from my dad saying he was leaving forever. And I was like, how did the Spider-Man notebook know to write that? That's so crazy. That's insane.
Tommy, I don't think that was the notebook.
I'm just kidding. Sorry, Dad, if you're watching. That's not.
Well, Eric, is it? I know. I mean, this eventually came out in other ways as well. But was it our first inkling that Gore the God Butcher might be in Thor? Did that come via some kind of?
Oh, we knew that he was going to be in it. We suspected that for a while, and then they confirmed it when they did that Disney Plus day in like December 2020. But they showed us like I think the first look we saw of like what he might look like, aside from set photos, was like in the form of a Lego version of Gore the God Butcher. And Lego will do this all the time. We have a friend, a close friend of ours who we went to college with, who works in conjunction with Marvel in a lot of ways, and he says like, the toys drive them crazy in the narrative department.
The Hammer, Mjolnir, revealed that the Mighty Thor character played by Natalie Portman was going to tie into the comic book cancer storyline. Like that hadn't been revealed about the movie at all until the toy came out.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Stuff with the I remember in Infinity War, the Hulkbuster armor, the fact that Banner was going to be in the Hulkbuster was like part of a Lego set. For sure, with like Eternals, with Multiverse of Madness, there was like a Gargantos looking thing. That's how we learned Gargantos' name, because otherwise it wasn't specified.
And we will certainly come back to this in a little segment Tommy likes to call mandatory fun. So stick a pin in this. There might be more talk of toys that spoil things. But actually, first, I'm going to move things around a little bit because I want to talk about our good friends at Boxu, who are helping us bring this episode to you remotely. Eric's actually got a delicious Boxu there with him. He's got the Tanjubi box. Boxu is a monthly subscription service that delivers premium Japanese snacks and tea pairings straight from Japan to your door. Each Boxu features a new theme, providing you a little gourmet journey through the beautiful regions of Japan every month. And yeah, the Tanjubi box, Tanjubi means birthday in Japanese. So this celebrates the 6th birthday of Boxu as a company. So these are some of their favorite snacks over the 6 years. Eric, you mentioned before that you've already kind of gone through a little bit of the Tanjubi box yourself. Do you have any favorites or things you're looking forward to getting into?
I love mochi so much, just because like as I get older, it's less about the flavor and more about the texture with foods. And like to me, the flavor or the texture of mochi is like the most pleasant thing ever. It's just so relaxing and calming.
Yeah,
so,
like a more toothsome marshmallow, if you will.
Sounds gochi to mochi, boys.
Gochi?
Gochi to mochi. We've been digging into a variety of the different Boxu boxes here all week at New Rockstars. And actually, May is Asian Heritage Month. And kind of a cool thing about Boxu is they work with a lot of like tiny and family-owned Japanese snack makers, authentic like family businesses throughout the country. And so it's a cool way to kind of connect to that heritage. And that little booklet that Eric held up a minute ago kind of gives you a little backstory about the individual snacks and the people that make them and the part of the country that they come from. If you want to try Boxu out and get into the delicious Gucci Moochies and other good snacks that come with it, go to the link in this video's description. Use code ROCKSTARS to get $15 off your order. You'll not only be getting some great snacks, maybe sending some good snacks to a friend of yours or a loved one, but you'll also be supporting us here in New Rockstars in the Breakroom. So thank you to Boxu for helping us out. And then a quick shout out to our friends at newrockstarsmerch.com. Eric is wearing right now our latest Obsession shirt inspired by the Multiverse of Madness. That shirt's called Shattered Madness. Wow. as a very cool, fun design. I also like how Strange's heart is kind of positioned about where the actual heart of the wearer would be.
Yeah. My heart is sitting on a slab somewhere in another country. It was removed and replaced with a criminal's heart.
Oh, okay.
There's an icebox where my heart used to be.
Oh, I love that song. I love Omarion.
I was going to say, not a lot of Omarion fans in the...
Oh, I'm an Omarion fan.
Poor man's Cisco is what I like to think of. Okay.
Wow.
No,
That's
I like
horrible.
Okay.
I love it.
Now, let's pivot. We're gonna Eric's gonna lead us in a little discussion about She-Hulk.
Yeah. So I love this She-Hulk trailer so much. I'm able to just like put aside my thoughts about the CGI because I think like the world that it's setting up and the way it's connecting to the MCU is so cool and weird. And there's this side relationship that we got to talk about. Wong and his friendship with Abomination. Now, Benedict Wong was confirmed to be in this series. He's going to be joining the cast. Isn't it crazy that the MCU right now is really like the Wong cinematic universe? They're just putting Wong in everything. And I have no complaints.
He fits everywhere.
He does.
Fits everywhere. You can throw him in anything. It makes sense.
He's so funny, and he's such a team player, and he's just like the smartest guy in the room, but he's also like clumsy in the most adorable way. I love Wong. Like, give Wong a movie. Wong needs to get his own title, I think. But anyway, we got some questions about like what he's doing in this show. So like, let's like, is it just going to be with Abomination? Or are we going to find out why he and Blonsky have this side relationship, why they showed up in Shang-Chi?
There just has to be. I am still writing this really weird theory that Wong is like his sponsor. That like, because we haven't seen Abomination in so long that I'm sure he's changed, you know? When you're stuck alone for a long time, you probably change and people change. So I like to think that Wong is there to be like, yeah, this is his way of getting exercise and his way of getting out and getting that anger that he still has built in him to get it out. We just spar. And as long as we keep sparring, he's fine. He's good to go. He just needs a little bit of, you know, like get it out. So I really want Wong's friend to be there to help him.
I love that idea, and I was kind of thinking something similar, right? And like there is a precedent for that, both in like parole officers and in like, you know, often like you have a sponsor maybe when you're dealing with addiction or other things like that. There are people that work with like former service members and stuff like that to kind of help them through trauma. I would love that if like, you know, the sorcerers are kind of have this spiritual bent, can be a little bit of like, you know, hey, I'll be both your counselor and your sparring buddy. It's such like a fun, weird mix of those two. I love that idea.
Seems like he's a little bit of a father figure. As long as Abomination will put his tiny hand in his, he could be his preacher teacher till the end of time.
I mean, I guess my question is...
Stop him. Take it away from him.
Tommy doesn't know how whistles work.
Yeah. Someone go to his house and rip that
whistle,
out of his
whistle, 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 whistle.
I get that. And I can imagine Wong being in this mindset of, you know, wanting to take these broken toys and give them a second chance. I think that it's totally something that the Sorcerer Supreme might say, you know what? No, I believe in redemption in this MCU. I just wonder, like, is he doing this on behalf of whoever the warden of this prison? I think it's the Cube. Is he doing this with their permission? Is he doing this in spite of their permission? I just don't really know how much the Sorcerer Supreme cares about the U.S. government and their interests.
It has to be just under whatever word you use, whatever vocab word you use. It has to be under the radar because he's just like bringing him out, right, and then sneaking him kind of back in. I don't know, maybe that's also the quickest way to get that big lug out of that room is just to get him out and in. But I feel like it would be easier to transport him if he wasn't hiding him, you know? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah. I think like if it is on behalf of a warden, it's gonna make Wong seem a bit like, you know, like I imagine this warden being someone like Val, you know, and if Val can like make Wong do stuff, like it's kind of like I feel like Wong wouldn't care if it was like through the government. I feel like he's got his own sneaky thing that he's doing with Abomination.
I agree.
So Val is bad. We know Val is
bad.
bad.
I have to assume.
I feel like we're always on the fence about whether or not Val is bad, because it's like, if she does get like people like Florence Pugh, like Yelena, to join the team, Yelena's bad, or Kate Bishop, if she got her, is Kate Bishop bad? We've gone into some weird stuff in the break room, but so if she's overseeing Abomination, she wants Abomination to do bad things again, but he doesn't want to do bad things if we're going off our theory of he's getting his anger out, correct? Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Well, we don't know, right? There's potential here for an Amanda Waller-esque Suicide Squad situation, right? We're technically, going to Starro is a good mission. Now, the ulterior motive, spoiler for the film Suicide Squad, right? The ulterior motive beneath the Starro thing was not nice. So, yeah, it's tough. We don't know Val's true motivations. We know she's kind of extra legal, right? Like a little bit outside the system while within the system, but kind of so aren't the Avengers, right? Like we don't know how bad her intentions might be yet.
Do we know?
I think if she gives Johnny Mayonnaise a second chance, no one is good.
That's why I'm like, I don't like this guy. You can't change Val. Do we think that she's taking the mantle where Thunderbolt Ross is leaving, correct?
I think so.
I think so.
I think ultimately it's going to be almost a Victoria Hand thing going on. I think there's going to be like a Dark Avengers lineup, and they're going to let Julia Louis-Dreyfus lead that up. I don't know if we're going to see that in this show. I just think ultimately that's what Val is doing.
Okay. Though, I'll say this: do you think Wong would be involved in?
Yeah, that's my question. I don't know. Like, Wong seems, as a sorcerer, I don't think he would care about what the Thunderbolts do. Like, he's got a bigger squid to fry, right? Like,
I agree.
I guess he kind of sees like he's got what do they call it out? He's zoomed way out on the issues, as opposed to just like, we got to get rid of this one bad guy in this one little place. Wong is looking at the world and like saving the world from a very, very wide angle of like, here's a cosmic threat, here's a magical threat, here's a demonic
he's
threat.
Got the third eye view instead of the bird eye.
The third eye view.
Yes.
He's not third eye blind, I'll tell you that much.
That's right. Hey, step back from that ledge, my friend, is what he's saying to Abomination. But he's still taking time out of his schedule of protecting the multiverse or whatever to kind of help rehabilitate or spar with Abomination. It is interesting, right? And that is like an unusual pairing. Also, I think Benedict Wong and Tim Roth are probably going to be really fun together.
I think they're going to be great.
Oh my God,
scenes. I also think we keep saying that they need to spar to get his anger out. I think Wong has also a lot of upset frustration, and he deserves it. He has every right to be so irritated with everything, and just to be like, I need to get it out with boxing, but a punching bag's not going to do it. The only person strong enough, Abomination.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know what we need? We need a scene where it is Tim Roth as Emil Blonsky and Wong as Wong sitting in a diner at a restaurant just talking about their feelings and their anger. At the very end, Tim Roth hulks out into Abomination, jumps on the table, and says, damn it, swear God's not there yet. But none of you effers move or we'll kill every last one of you effers. It's we need that. I think we are owed that.
And hey, we can get, and that's right. We get Sam Jackson, Nick Fury sitting in the same diner.
Yeah. Say Skrull again. Say Skrull again.
I think like ultimately, since Wong, I can't imagine Wong would be on board with any kind of Dark Avengers or Thunderbolts or whatever it is. I wonder if his goal is to subvert what Val is doing, and he is teaching Emil Blonsky how to take control over his Abomination Hulk out so that he won't be forced to be like a super soldier for someone else's bidding. He's going to say, 100. Hey, so when the time is right, now activate your own self-control and you can break free.
100%.
Right.
100% agree.
And I think, and that will add a lot of depth to that character when Abomination still chooses to join the Dark Avengers. But he will be torn. Maybe he does have a legitimate friendship. He's getting, these characters are much more interesting when they're getting pulled in both directions, which arguably John Walker has like things pulling him in both directions, right? Like it's certainly Yelena, right? Like they are not black and white, just straight up evil villains. That's what makes these characters kind of so interesting to watch. Yeah.
100%.
Real quick, I was just going to throw in, we know we're getting introduced to some kind of prison for superpowered individuals. Anytime you get introduced to something like that, I feel like it's setting the table for a prison break. Are we going to see something like that on She-Hulk? I know that feels pretty far afield from what that show's going to be about, but
I mean,
could it be setting
more
up?
reason to do that? She's a lawyer. More reason to do it. Anything that involves breaking the law seems like you should do it right now in She-Hulk.
She gets him out with appeals and evidence and whatever, right? Not like somebody drilling a hole through the wall.
I think that'll be.
There's going to be a breakout.
There has to be a break-in.
Or Prison Break. It starts with a break-in, really, and then a breakout by the end of the season. But the question is, like, who else is in this space? If it is the Cube, it's gonna be a type of prison that keeps gamma irradiated individuals. And if that's like a multiple individual thing, that's where we can get to a place of like, a giant-sized Hulk, a World War Hulk. Maybe we could see a Red Hulk in there. It's going to be different. It can't be Thunderbolt Ross at this point unless they recast, R.I.P. William Hurt. But like they could still go that angle with just a different character being Red Hulk. This is a show to do it, I think. If you're going to have Abomination there, if you're already spending all this money, that'd be... Anytime you introduce a prison, you want to see the place explode and everyone break out of it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So one last question. We saw Wong, last saw Wong in Banner with his sling, in the Shang-Chi post-credit scene. We've talked about that in other videos, of course, but do you think Shang-Chi, as like the heir apparent to the Avengers, could show up on this show?
Ooh.
No. No, I don't. I think because isn't there mention, and correct me if I'm wrong, that Matt Murdock will be coming in?
I think that would be the likelier mind-blowing cameo if Charlie Cox showed up on this show. It makes a bit more sense to me.
Yeah. I also think there's just so many cameos you can do, and I think getting like Abomination already in and out of form, and then you're gonna have Hulk, and then you got Matt Murdock. I think throwing Shang-Chi in there is just another little bit of like, ooh, this is going completely the other way.
Now, who played Betty Ross in the 2008? Was that Liv Tyler?
Liv Tyler.
I mean, are we ruling out a Betty Ross cameo? Are we ruling out a return? Didn't she do Endgame? Wasn't she standing next to William Hurt at the end of at Tony Stark's funeral in Endgame?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think so. I think wasn't he standing alone?
Yeah, he was standing by himself.
All right. Hey, You know what? I'm right and you guys are wrong. No, I don't. That could be.
Yeah, I'm right and you guys are wrong.
Well, there's no way for us to ever know.
I think Liv Tyler was part of that like earlier era. Like they didn't bring back Ed Norton, and I think Liv Tyler as like his love interest in that movie. It was just too weird. I think William Hurt was really the one actor from that series that they brought back.
We'll find out, won't we?
Well, I just want to throw in, there was a super chat from Skylar Aldridge asking, with William Hurt's passing, if they did decide not necessarily to recast Thunderbolt Ross, but maybe have a different existing MCU character turn into Red Hulk, who do you think it could be?
I see Skylar suggested Val. I mean, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, some kind of hulked out version of Julia Louis-Dreyfus would be crazy. Would be awesome.
Wild.
I don't know. I think... there's probably some obvious answer.
What about a Justin Hammer? What about a Justin Hammer at Hulk?
I can see Justin Hammer's still in jail, right?
Or possibly
from the short. In the short, he's still in the prison. Not this prison, but a normal prison.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is kind of a cop-out answer, but anytime you can have somebody's kid, trying to avenge their wronged, Aldrich Killian's son, who we've never seen on film, but he's going to avenge his father by taking the gamma radiation or something like that.
Yeah, I think I'd be interested to see other Hulk figures like Hulk Lean. I know that he's been speculated a lot. He's called Hulk Lean, but he's actually like a half Skrull. He's not necessarily anyone's kid. Well, he is someone's kid, but not these characters' kid. And I think it'd be fun to introduce Amadeus Cho on the show. That name hasn't been thrown out there a lot, but he's such a fascinating character. And we have Helen Cho in the universe, but I don't think it's ever been established that she has a kid named Amadeus. Like, if this is just going to be the Hulk show, like our portal into the Hulk corner of the MCU, you got to have Amadeus Cho in there, I think.
Let's do it, baby.
That's great. Speaking of things we should do, Tommy.
Is it? Hang on. I need to cast a spell. Mandatorious Fundus! Mandatorious Fundus! That's right,
it's time. Graphic, it is so ridiculous.
It's time for the segment that has swept the nation. Hit my graphic again! All right, it's time for mandatory fun. A segment so nice we play the graphic twice. A segment so fine sometimes we play it 3 times. Hit my graphic again. We reported earlier, those dummies at Parker Brothers released a Stranger Things 4 Monopoly game that spoiled some major plot lines from Stranger Things Season 4. You know, if they were smart, they would have released a recap Monopoly game that reminded us what the hell happened on that show 5 years ago. It was last out. But that got me thinking. My 3 best friends are here. What are some other merchandise spoilers that have, affected you? And I want to remind everyone that these may or may not be real. So put your spoiler hats on, and I wanted each one of you to pitch me your best merch spoiler, past, present, or future, that you can think of. Who would like to go first? No one. I'll go first.
Great.
It's so crazy, you guys. I was actually at Target the other day, and I saw that this is nuts. I know that Solo, a Star Wars film, was kind of maligned by critics, and seemingly Kathleen Kennedy even kind of bailed on it the other day in that Vanity Fair article. But they're actually...
Wait a minute, Tommy, I hate to interrupt you, but fuck you for saying it was maligned, because we just hit Swear Jar $106.
Yeah.
You. So bad about the movie. 100%. It was 1,000% Rotten Tomatoes. $1 billion in the domestic box office.
I think it came in second only to Morbius for highest grossing film.
Wow. And shout out to Jacob Neely, who was rooting that Eric noticed the Swear Jar first. And dreams do come true.
There you go, Jacob. I got that one for you. Well, anyway, Eric, I am a Solo believer. I'm maybe the Solo believer. But I want a continuation of the Solo Star Wars film. And what's nuts is I was at Target, and they have merchandise for Solo too. Oh. And they actually have a Millennium Falcon. And I bought it.
Wow.
And it seems like a regular Millennium Falcon, but when you open it, there are some just absolutely crazy, what I have to assume are spoilers. Because, okay, let me see how this thing opens.
Oh, God.
Upside down? I know it opens.
Yeah, are you sure?
Okay. So what's crazy is there is an R2 unit in it. So that makes sense. R2's in there. But what's crazy is after that, Rough Rider Teddy Roosevelt is there.
Rough Rider?
Yeah, the Rough.
Also,
Rough Rider?
Yeah, it's the wrong dimension on Teddy, isn't it? He's like almost as big as the ship.
Also, why is he blending in with your house?
Well, he goes away in my house. Rough Rider Teddy Roosevelt is flying the ship, but that's not all. Also, co-piloting it, taking the place of what I can only assume is the replacement for Chewbacca, is Terry from Pee-wee's Playhouse. So this is a major spoiler. Terry confirmed. Terry from Pee-wee's Playhouse confirmed. And who's going to be the main bad guy in Solo 2?
There's more.
This is crazy because I thought for sure this had to be it. Main bad guy in Solo 2 confirmed. Batman the Animated Series Two-Face. Batman the Animated Series Two-Face will be the major bad guy and good guy in Solo 2, a Star Wars sequel. And I gotta say, Target, you done dropped the ball. You dropped the ball. You ruined the movie for me, and you ruined the movie for everyone else.
We're sorry that happened, Tommy. No sorry that you got exposed.
Nice.
Hang on, one
nice
second.
work.
1 second.
Oh my
Ryan
God.
Henson.
Oh no.
Spoke to you yesterday, and I said some things that I regret. I want to apologize to you now. Sorry about the bag of blood. Just feel free to send it straight back to me. According to my doctor, I should not have sent that much blood, and I do need it back. Hopefully you kept it either refrigerated or at a boiling temperature, because if you send that blood back room temperature, I'm a goner. Okay? So, pH, play a solid.
Blood.
Also, if you don't get this reference that Tommy just made, I'm sorry, you're going to have to watch the full 1 hour episode from yesterday. Okay, well, I'll go. Mine is not as elaborate or not as prop heavy as sadly as Tommy's. You just did a great job. Real quick, I want to shout out my cousin Davey Fallon, who had his 14th birthday earlier this week. I've been meaning to shout him out. Hope you're having a great birthday week down in San Diego. Okay. Mine this was actually spoiled for me at my local Kroger grocery store, right? I'm walking down the canned soup aisles because you guys know I'm a Campbell's aholic.
Yeah, you love it.
Right?
You're supernatural.
Oh, yeah. So souped up on soup is what they call it. That's my super soldier serum, okay? So I'm looking through all the different soups. Then I see like a Chef Boyardee Multiverse of Madness themed can. Okay, cool. Well, I want to buy that. But on the can, they have John Krasinski as Reed Richards. And the actual noodles are shaped like his body flayed into spaghetti.
That's shameful.
And I'm like,
that's shameful.
Not only did they spoil his appearance, they spoiled that he was going to die by being shredded by Wanda. Totally ruining
Shame
that
on you, Chef Boyardee. And I know you're watching.
Horrible.
Shame on Chef Boyardee.
I will never, ever eat that gross ravioli ever again.
That's impossible.
I think that's part of an initiative to keep kids from eating so many carbs, is they want to eat Mr. Fantastic.
Let me tell you what, I've ate John Krasinski before. It's not as good as you think.
Oh God, I can go next. Go next. Off that note. Where's that whistle at? Off that note. You guys, I had to go to the store. And I had to go pick up some really cool clothes because you know how I wear the coolest clothes on set.
Oh, you went to the cool clothes store?
Yeah, aka the Hot Topic. Nice. The Hot Topic at Universal.
That sounds like a hot store.
Let me tell you about it. It's a Hot Topic. So I went to Hot Topic and I went in there, right? And I was like, oh, this looks like some brand new swag you got here. They said this is exclusive from the Harley Quinn animated series season 4, which hasn't even really been thought of yet.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, I need to go over there and buy it. And the only item they had left was this 15 milligram of Lexapro.
Whoa.
And I said, wow, there is no way this has anything to do with Harley Quinn. And she said, it's the version of Harley Quinn that's the doctor. And I went, oh my God, spoil. Bitch.
Yeah.
I mean, spoiler, and I got mad because she spoiled me and told me season 4 was the pre of Harley being the doctor, and I'm irritated.
She's just handing out 15 mils of Lexapro left and right. Well, first of all, let me just say 15 milligrams, coward. Get up to 40, and then we'll talk. Join the 40 gang, and then you can really start zoning out. Yeah, that's a crazy spoiler. Shame on Hot Topic. Shame on Hot Topic.
Shame.
But cheers.
Gotta be careful going through Hot Topic.
Cheers to Harley Quinn for self-care and for taking care of, there's absolutely a good thing to handle depression. So good for her. In a way, I'm not as mad about that spoiler as I am about the spaghettis, I got to say. All right, Eric, any spoilers come into your life recently?
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows how awful it was when that reporter from Variety tweeted out that Harry Styles was going to be in the post-credit scene for Eternals, playing Thanos' brother, Eros, aka Star Fox. But I hate to say it, but I actually got spoiled on that even before that. And I'm not talking about leaks. I was getting dinner with some friends, and female friend of mine was going through her purse and just kind of taking stuff out of her purse. And, I'm a guy, so I don't understand at all what it means to be a woman living in the dangers of society right now, where all kinds of threats are coming your way. And she had something that I kind of offhandedly and insensitively made a joke about. I'm like, what's this? And she goes, that's my rape whistle, and gave me a very respectful and patient discussion and explanation of what that is. And I said, but wait a minute, who is on this? And she goes, well, I just got this handed out to me at Disneyland. And I was like, really, at Disneyland? And she's like, yeah. And it was a picture of of Harry Styles as Star Fox.
Wow.
And I guess a reference to the fact that Star Fox is, guilty of all kinds of sexual assault in the comics. And I remember thinking, like, Star Fox, there's no way they're going to put him in the MCU because he's a predator. And in fact, She-Hulk had to represent Star Fox as a client in a sexual assault case at one point. But no, it was a real thing. And then shortly after that, I saw Eternals, and I was bummed that I was spoiled. And then later, I found out that when you blow that whistle, it makes Patton Oswalt's sound of when he goes bam, 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 presenting.
Wow, that's a crazy spoiler.
That's insane.
That's wild.
That is the craziest spoiler I've ever heard.
What a seemingly controversial and not profitable piece of merch they would make that. Yeah, that's wild.
I mean, I don't think profit. In fairness to them, it was probably handed out for free. I think
Okay.
Oh,
still a major spoiler, and I gotta say, like, it's a sad world that those even have to exist, but it's even sadder when you spoil the Eternals, obviously. Guys. Obviously, Star Fox whistles aren't the most fun thing in the world, but this has been mandatory fun, and in order to lift the fundus curse, I will now whisper the counter curse. Resumis, the show is.
Very nice. Very nice. Great. We've got a couple folks that have thrown out some fun super chats. First off, shout out to CLG Comics, who said, appreciate all that you guys do, and hashtag whatnot being a platform that both CLG Comics uses, and we've worked with in the past. Thank you for that. Okay, there's some good kind of things. Our good friend Chrissy, who's always coming in with some strong facts. Thank you, Chrissy. She's a expert Egyptologist and has a lot of great information. Said that the Soul Stone is the only stone you can hold in your bare hand because the power of the Soul Stone doesn't come from what it doesn't come from what it gives you. It comes from the knowledge of what you gave up to get it. I hadn't thought about it that way, Chrissy.
I really like that interpretation a lot. I mean, the Soul Stone, I feel like we need to do a whole series on just the Soul Stone. So, like, Marvel needs to show us everyone who tried to sacrifice someone to get the Soul Stone. Who's also like, is the Soul Stone like replicable? Like, if someone else were to go up to that cliffside and sacrifice someone, like after Thanos and Hawkeye got it, is it now gone? Like, I just want to see everyone who sacrificed it and how it's returned even. Like, yeah. Interesting interpretation.
Absolutely. We've got a couple quick ones here. Mickey asking about the Daredevil revival that's just been announced, which we covered earlier. Thank you, Mickey, for super chatting there. And then Allison Becker 94. This is kind of a nice coincidence. Give us full reaction episodes of Eric watching season 3 of The Boys. Well, I don't know about that, Allison, but we are going to be covering season 3 of The Boys here on New Rockstars. Our after show, Boys Underground, is coming back along with season 3 of The Boys. We're still working out the details of who's going to be on that show and things like that, but you can expect weekly coverage of The Boys season 3 here on New Rockstars, and we'll probably talk about it a little bit on the break room as well, because we'll all be watching it and enjoying it. Great. Oh, there were a couple polls that ran during the show today, and some of these polls are just kind of bait for like, are you excited about the Daredevil announced series? And of course, 91% of people are excited. Yeah, you wouldn't be watching Breakroom unless you were excited. And I assume the 8 or 9% that aren't excited are just hardcore Netflix Daredevil fans who are maybe a little worried about that.
Scared.
When asked if people want a Wong solo movie, 72% said yes.
Yeah.
Now, I guess it's easy. Why wouldn't you want more Marvel movies? Now, if it's like Wong solo movie or another Doctor Strange movie, or Wong solo movie or another Thor movie, then the numbers might be a little different there. But
yeah.
Oh, producer John coming in. I don't know if everybody could hear that Wong during the blip could be an interesting movie.
Yeah. Wong is an example. Like, I'm not gonna say that any of the upcoming titles in the pipeline are like, why that? But there are so many interesting characters in the MCU. So I don't know why we're getting like solo series and TV shows for some of these characters and not Wong. Like, Wong needs his own title.
Yeah.
I agree.
We all love him.
Can't go wrong with Wong. That's my campaign I'm running on for president on.
Well, I noticed. You've got that full back tattoo.
That's right.
Right, Tommy?
It's called Wongfully Accused, and it's just me and Benedict Wong both behind bars with our hands in prayer hands.
Oh. We've got a couple just very nice chats. Carla Ibarra saying, thanks for the break room, guys. It livens up my Mondays to Fridays. Get Eric out of the Blue Dungeon. Well, we can't deliver on that. And, we need Eric in that Blue Dungeon to get us all those great breakdowns and theory videos. But we appreciate you, Carla, and we thank you for watching. And then Andrew McManama, sorry, I butchered your name there. $5 more towards Eric's plane ticket to join the break room in person. Well, you better believe anytime we can get that guy in the 818, we're pulling him into the studio.
818 till we die.
Yeah, I love doing this with you guys. I miss you all so much.
We miss you, and that's why it's a pleasure when folks like Tommy get to go to an event with you. We've got some other events in the cooker. We might be coming to a city near you, Mr. Voss and some other friendly faces from the channel. But other than that, luckily, you get to see his and our faces a whole lot every day here on New Rockstars. We thank you for watching this very special episode of the break room. Tommy's casting a spell on us, and this is a brown noise spell, so I think I've got to run real quick.
Too late.
So Eric, do you want to give a quick tease? Eric, what do we got coming out on the channel in the next day or two?
We have some really fun videos where I did something I don't normally do, but I love doing a VFX and CGI analysis of the She-Hulk footage.
Nice.
And I don't come at it like the wizards over at the Quarter Crew do. They're all VFX artists themselves. I come at it from someone who I feel like I know quite a bit about VFX, and we have a whole great team of artists and graphics folks here at New Rockstars who consulted on this. But I come from it from a narrative and character perspective. So I did an analysis based off of what we see of She-Hulk and why some of the shots feel off and why some of them feel totally fine and really fun. So I'm, at the end of the day, really looking forward to that show, and I don't want people to dismiss it or reject it just based off of some unfinished VFX in the trailer.
Thank you.
So we got that coming out, and another theory of mine that the Multiverse of Madness 838 universe might be the same universe as the epilogue of X-Men Days of Future Past. Ooh. There's some interesting evidence pointing to that possibility, so check out that when it comes out.
Very nice, very nice. So we've got some great videos from Whitney and MT coming up in the next couple days as well. So check those out. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, for a Funky Friday edition of the Break Room. There might be booze getting consumed. I can neither confirm nor deny that. Eric Voss might be back. Can neither confirm nor deny that. We'll find out. But we thank you for joining us. We hope you have a great day. Keep it Gucci to Moochie.
Gucci to Moochie!